back with another episode of the Stretford End, and it is a big one today. Definitely, we are playing Spurs, and that is a big game. We have to look at it as revenge because we are definitely wanting to go into this game and get a win. Today is the pre-match analysis for the game, and that is definitely something we are going to look into. We are going to speak about the predicted starting 11. We're going to speak about, the key players, and we're definitely going to speak about places where we can maybe look to attack Spurs and especially speak about what Mourinho has done for them throughout this particular season. But there's also the special surprise for later on for the game, but we'll definitely get into that at a later stage. So, the pre-match analysis is not quite much to speak about because we definitely know what we're getting into and we definitely know what to expect from a Mourinho team. Definitely, they are going to sit back and they are going to try and counter-attack us. But it is also a similar tactic that Ole uses in the big games whenever we play the big teams. And it's going to be a case of who blinks first because if you look at it, we are going to sit back and they are going to sit back and we are going to try to expose them, when they are exposed, after attacking us. But with them giving us possession of the ball, we are definitely going to have to try and capitalize on that. They do not have a very good defensive record. Well, that's ironic for someone like Mourinho himself, who prides himself on defensive, stability first before going forward. Their players don't have much confidence. We definitely need to ensure that we go at them, from the first minute. Similar to the game when we played City at the Etihad, where we pushed them, from the very first whistle, and look what we got, a penalty. We definitely need to do the exact same. But I definitely feel we also need to watch out for their counter attack because the players that they have are capable of causing trouble, in one-on-one situations. And, the defenders we have, with Wan-Bissaka and Shaw are quite good, in one-on-one situations. But the players like Lindelof and Maguire, those are the two, that we don't necessarily want to have, in one-on-one situations. But we'll get to speak about the personnel, a bit later in today's episode. But with regards to, the way we want to attack, we definitely need to ensure that we play quicker. We need to, find spaces much more quicker because they are going to try and, close those spaces down. We know Mourinho likes to be very compact. When his team are defending, they don't sit too deep, so that they can press you. But we need to ensure that we play quickly around them and that we get the crosses in the box, because that is going to be where our strength will lie for today's game. We need to ensure that we go wide and that we cross the ball into the box because Mourinho's team this season have not really been at their best, when defending, either set pieces or defending, crosses into the box. So we definitely need to look at that in a particular way to exploit them. The team that we have, the players such as, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, Paul Pogba. I think that they will definitely cause trouble today. I think that they are fired up, considering the last time we played Spurs, it was, well, I don't want to speak about it. We are definitely not going to get into it. It's still, is quite painful. And the team also felt that pain, because after that, we kind of crawled our way back to, confidence. But definitely, we need to ensure that we will move stronger forward and that we, attack them with purpose and we attack them with urgency and have energy on the ball, so that we can go into this game and go and win it. Look, yesterday City lost, and that is something that perhaps, the football gods are smiling on us. Perhaps there's a small window open for us. Who knows? Anything can happen, this is football. But we definitely want to ensure that we have a very, very strong output for today's game from the get-go, from the very first whistle. And that will ensure that we get the 3 points and a much needed, dominating win over, one of the top teams, within the league this season. Jose Mourinho, we have seen quite a lot of him throughout the years, from his time at FC Porto up until his time now at Spurs. And there's always been this familiar pattern of him falling out with players, him, calling them out in the worst possible names, in the media, and that has kind of not really been the best way to go about things. It has worked in the past, for players who could take, public criticism. But players today, they tend to want their arm around the shoulder. They want to, be babied in a sense into, performing well, when they are not performing well. And again, it is evident this season. They started, the season quite strongly. It looked like Mourinho was definitely going somewhere, at the beginning, before he got the job. He told Daniel Levy that he definitely, sees this team strong enough to win the league, and they started like that. I mean, look what they did to us. Again, I don't want to speak about it, but it is the facts. They also, were top of the log, had a very, very good run. Kane and Son were the dynamic duo, and the players around them were just doing what they needed to do. And it looked like Mourinho was back to his old self. He was smiling, he was jolly. And then all of a sudden, he just dipped down from there. They started conceding goals from winning positions, all the time. And, they seem to have lost their way, losing concentration. I mean, now recently Mourinho said that it's the same coach but different players. I mean, if you were a player, surely you don't want to hear that from your coach. I mean, but sometimes that fuels the fire within you. But they also, as I said today, that's not the way you go about it. Players don't want that, and perhaps that is where Mourinho has lost some of his players. But it could also be that the team is just trying to find their way through it. There are players in his team that definitely fight for him, like Bulldogs, the Serge Auriers, the Hoibergs, the Sissokos, etc., the Sons. They definitely do fight for him, but you can see that, there is a bit of unrest within the team, and we definitely need to look to capitalize on that. So, Spurs has had a very up and down season, but it's been the same for everyone. And, it's just basically how you've needed to cope with that. But as we've seen before, like I said, this is a typical Jose Mourinho team and a typical Jose Mourinho season. But we still need to look out for them and ensure that we are definitely ready for them. And I think that we definitely will be ready for them. So, into my predicted starting 11 for today's game against Spurs. Definitely, I feel that Dean Henderson will start in goal. As I said, he is our number one. And because David De Gea played against Granada, definitely Dean Henderson will start today. The back four is again as similar: Luke Shaw in the left back, Lindelof and Maguire, and definitely Wan-Bissaka on the right back. I feel that I would want Eric Bailly or maybe a Tuanzebe, to come in just to, counter that pace that Son, the Lucas Moura, etc. Those players will try and exploit us. But I do feel that Ole will play Lindelof because he kind of favors the Maguire-Lindelof partnership. In our two holding players, I feel that it probably will be Fred and Pogba. Again, Pogba playing in a deeper role but pushing forward when needed to. And obviously Fred being the dogged player that he is, trying to close down, break up play, and try and play that ball when needed to. Yes, Fred is not the best ball playing midfielder we have, but he does try to play the ball when he needs to. Again, the three in front of that will be Bruno in the 10. I feel that Rashford will start on the left, and perhaps maybe Daniel James on the right. And the reason for going with Daniel James is because the defensive option that he gives us, closing down, when counter-attacking, and also the pace when we need to counter-attack going forward. And up front, I definitely feel Cavani should start for him, because we're going to have possession of the ball, and he will have to, try to exploit, the balls in behind, be that fox in the box. And I don't think Greenwood will start, mainly because he looked a bit tired against the game in Granada. So I feel that, Cavani will start. That is it for my predicted 11, and I feel that it is a strong enough 11 for us to cause trouble for Spurs and for us to go and get the win. So, as I said earlier on in the show, there is a definite surprise for you guys for today's game. And with that being said, for later on for the game, definitely watch out. Definitely hit the notification bell so that you can get a notification, because later on we are going to do a live watch along for the game against Spurs, where you will definitely have me, your host, Session Johnson, joined by my father, James Johnson, will definitely be watching the game along with you guys and definitely having live reactions and live match analysis as the time goes on and as the game is played. I trust that you guys will enjoy that and that you guys are excited for that. I know that I am, and it will definitely be a first for the Stretford end. But that is it for the Stretford end from now. Have a wonderful day further, and definitely, as I said before, we are definitely going to go for the win, and glory, glory, Man United. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.